What a shot, sir. Look, now that's more like it. That. Absolutely perfection. Oh, look at this. Absolute perfection. Look at that. Oh my goodness me, that's perfection, sir. The cavalry's been absolutely butchered. Now, they didn't expect this. We're completely blindsided. We've come out of this sort of ditch here, out of this ravine here. Look at that. We've been down in this ravine. They haven't seen us at all. It's a perfect ambush site, sir. Fire! Second back, fire! Greetings and welcome to episode 56 of my Empire Total War Darth mod Great Britain campaign. And this, my friends, I left it last time, and as you can quite clearly see here, France, for some inexplicable reason, has decided to launch an attack against Jerusalem. We have not provoked France in any way. We have not been fighting anywhere near any of their territories, apart from Egypt. The only argument you could put forward for France potentially having any sort of ire against us here is that we've been fighting quite close to their territories, but in no way have we even come anywhere within 100 miles of the nearest French city, town or village. So there's only one possible reason that the French have done this, and that is they've always wanted Jerusalem. They've always coveted Jerusalem, but they've never had the courage to go against the Russians like we have. And what they've done is they've taken their chance to strike against us, but still leave the Russians on their side, as it were. So they've done the cowardly thing. They've backstabbed us for a city, and they haven't had the gumption, they haven't had the guts, they haven't had the courage to actually do this before we did it. Because they've always wanted Jerusalem. They've not wanted to go up against the Russian Empire, and now they've seen we've taken it, and now they're going to try and take it off because we're in a weakened state. Now, as you can see, our forces aren't at full strength here, but we are slowly starting to see some of these regiments coming back to full strength. Now, of course, the Guards, we've got 1, 2, 3 regiments at full strength. We've got 2 regiments almost at full strength as well. We've got another regiment in 200 here. We've got 200 men here, and these 2 regiments are low, but not sort of critically low, as it were. We've got a Guards regiment here, which has seen quite a lot of fighting. As you can see, this regiment here, 99th Foot, was in the vanguard of the defence of the attack last time, or defence, should I say, when we were attacked by the Russians. And of course the cavalry took a severe beating. Of course we have got a wonderful plethora here of firepower and artillery support. But as you can see, the Russians here have got an army waiting. So what I really want to do is start bringing in the council much more now into this campaign, and we've had some wonderful response from the council, and we've had two sort of differing opinions on the council. The council is pretty much almost split down the middle in terms of what we should do here, because this really has thrown a curveball into our plans. Now, we're of course still fighting a brutal war with Russia, which we've had to reinstate because of our economic concerns. But it's also given us a chance to not only almost bring Moscow within our grasp, within a whisker of being able to take Moscow. It really is on the verge of falling there to us. But also we've able to sort of, because we've shortened the lines at the behest of the council. The council did request that we actually shorten our lines in Istanbul and in Greece and in Romalia to be able to free up the forces available to attack Kiev. Now we've there's been this sort of a divergence of advice here. So the first sort of advice I'd like to bring in is by General Aydin, and General Aydin says that of course he wasn't expecting this to happen, but his advice would be that now we're at war with France, so we should really start raiding their trade lines to bring additional an income from us from the trade, obviously using our sort of naval forces to be able to raid the trade lines, which is of course a wonderful advice there, which we probably will do. And he's saying that we should finish off Moscow as quickly as possible so that we don't actually lose any more men, and also to defend Jerusalem, take Moscow, and then combine the two armies from the north and from the Balkan region to sort of clear Kiev and clear all the regions in between. Now that's a wonderful advice, really. So that's one sort of position that we've got from one wonderful council member here. The other one is by Kuba Sofiane, who says that we should take advantage of the way our enemies are sort of going to display themselves upon the wall. Also that we take Moscow and not wait any longer again, because we might lose additional troops, which we shouldn't be losing. And also that we should build a fleet to stop the Russians from raiding and ruining our trade lines, which of course is excellent advice. The Russians really have been raiding a number of our trade lines, especially in the sort of Caribbean, or just off the Caribbean as it were. And that we should really turn our attention to the Middle East once we've dealt with the immediate Russian sort of operations we had in the pipeline. So again, that's absolutely wonderful advice. Of course, we've got Michael as well, Michael Couch, who is an absolutely brilliant council member. Michael has been with us for a very long time, and his advice is always succinct and absolutely well put together. It really is. And Michael suggests a number of things. First of all, diplomacy, that we should, now we've hit Russia, we should look for a peace treaty with them, so we can concentrate on France. And if that doesn't come to pass, then it doesn't matter, we've not lost anything, which is of course true. We should choose a specific offensive front. So in other words, focus our sort of assets, our military assets, on one particular enemy, so that we're not sort of spreading or dissipating our sort of military power, as it was. We've got our forces focused on one particular enemy, and then sort of have a holding pattern or a defensive position with the other. We should also consider that we should have economic warfare and raids against France. In other words, sending small sort of regiments, small packets or small units of regiments into French territory to raid their sort of economic hubs, their towns, their cities, their roads, their ports, that type of thing. Again, that's something we definitely have to look at there. Also to check the location of French fleets, so that we know what we've got to protect, what we can possibly see coming out, heading our way. As you can see, we've got a massive French fleet here, which could possibly start to harass our ports here in Istanbul and further afield as well. Especially in Britain, we've got to be very careful what happens in Britain, because we've only got one fleet in Britain. It can't defend everything all at the same time. Then we've got Michael Runnels as well, who comes up with a really interesting point as well, and an excellent point as well. He says, is not to take Kiev, but to move north and take the territories to the other territories first. So in other words, the territories that lead up to Kiev. So we sort of effectively clear a zone, clear the Russians out of our immediate sort of path towards Kiev. And then once we've done that, then move towards Kiev. And then he's saying that we should give up the campaign in the Middle East and focus entirely on Russia, and sort of have a holding pattern with France, as it were, and getting Russia and Poland under control. Probably Russia. We've got Poland is sort of stable at the moment, but again, I can see where Michael's coming from in terms of what we should do with Poland. Also build up our income for our navy, and to start sort of clean the trade lines. Another council member saying we should start cleaning the trade lines. Of course, we should do that. And again, he's saying we should. Once we've done all that, then once we've dealt with the Russians, we've taken what we want from Russia, then we can focus on the Middle East again, which is a good point. But he's saying I would mainly focus on Russia rather than Poland again. That's true enough. Then we got Jamie as well, who comes up with another sort of another point as well, saying that we should really focus. We got large concentrations. With large concentrations of armies hundreds of miles away from France, but with troops in Jerusalem, we cannot fight an effective war, especially with the threat of Poland, Lithuania hanging in the balance. Maybe we should capture Moscow and trade it for peace. Now, that is a possibility if France puts a huge amount of pressure on us elsewhere, and we are really, we are things are looking a little decidedly dodgy for us and dicey for us, that we might be struggling against the combined sort of might of France and Russia, and we can't hold Moscow, and France is putting pressure from us elsewhere, because remember, France pretty much controls all of Northern America and most of South America as well, so their wealth is vast. So now the war with France, we're going to be pushed to the limit. So there might come to a point where we might have to trade something to get peace with Russia, so we can focus on France. So that's another point that he's saying, to sack Moscow, and that way then we can get peace with Russians. Once they get their capital back, we can focus on France. I can absolutely see where he's coming from there. I can see where Jamie's coming from there. Also make sure we've got enough protection around Britain to sort of thwart any French invasion attempts. Because of course, if the defensive lines of Britain's are lost, and if London is lost, it's done. It's over. To be honest with you, it would be a catastrophe for our campaign. It really would. If London is lost, we are in deep trouble. So again, that's a number of sort of wonderful, and there's been many more. I may not have read out, and you will probably see the advice coming up on the screen when you're watching at this moment. Because please don't think because I haven't put your advice on it, it wasn't. All advice would come together and will be used, my friends. That I can promise you. But as you can see, we are up against it now. But I think it's time that we can't do anything here apart from defend the city. So we're going to take the fight here in Jerusalem. We're going to see what happens afterwards. If we've got to pull out of Jerusalem, we're going to put a ship here in the port here, and just off the coast of Syria. We'll probably put a ship ready to move in, take the army off Jerusalem, and move straight away. We might even give Jerusalem to the French for peace. That's what I'd rather do. So if we have to put out the Middle East, I'd rather give it to the French to get peace, so we can actually refocus back on the Russians. But let's take the battle, my friends. The Battle of Jerusalem must be our next point of call here. It has to be dealt with. Let's do this, my friends. And it wasn't a battle I was expecting. I was expecting the sort of another battle for Moscow, and that would have been it. But no, my friends. The French have decided thus otherwise. You're probably going to hear some noise coming in the background, my friends, because you might know who has just woken up and has now realised I'm recording and is now going to want full attention. So I do apologise for anything. Right, so we already know which way the French are coming in. They're going to be coming in this way, and it's a nice, clear, open, sunny day. Some slight haze in the distance here, and there it is. There's Jerusalem in the background, my friends, but the haze is light, but we do have very clear path and line of sight here, so we know which way the French are coming in. Looks like they're going to surround us all the way around here by the looks of things. But we do have a large amount of firepower at our disposal, and that's going to prove an absolute boon for us. Now let's get our artillery, our fire support, because they're going to be crucial. The fire support will be crucial in this fight. Now, for some reason, this gentleman is in here. Thank you. I said limber. And we are going to do that. We're going to put them in two separate distinct groupings here, so we can it's a round shot. Now let's get our troops down onto the parade ground so we know what we have and what we don't have. Regiment of foot. Because we have to defend these walls with great vigour, so we have to let the French know they're not going to be able to walk in here and just take what they want. That is not how it works. We've actually got some good complement of troops here. Actually, far better than I thought previously. So as you can see here, we're not without some able defenders. 102nd Regiment. We've got guards outside the walls. I'm not quite sure what's going on there. As you can see, they have taken quite a beating there, those guards here. 101st Regiment. We've got an excellent complement here of defenders, which is going to prove very able for us in this coming battle. And what we will do is we'll just put these gentlemen here to make sure that we hold what we have, and so that things don't just go slightly awry here. And that way then, my friends, we can actually now we've got cavalry as well, which we, of course, we've got the 44th. We're going to keep the cavalry inside until such point that we actually need to use them outside the walls. Now if we get the walls get breached, we're going to have cavalry ready to repel. We don't want any 39th. We'll just keep the cavalry here at the moment, and we'll keep the rest of the cavalry here. Ah, there's the other cavalry there. The blazes is going on there, sir. Now we know the French is going to come in this way, but we're going to be probably surrounded by the French, so we need to put the majority of our forces. We'll have, let's put the 101st here at the vanguard of the defence. It's sort of this apex here. Now they should mount those guns there quite. We'll also have, I think we'll have the 79th Regiment here, ably assisting their sister regiment here. That's looking good here. Now we need to start putting our forces into some kind of 202nd Regiment here. I think we'll put these gentlemen here, thus. We'll have the 94th Regiment again here. We are going to be stretched. They're going to try and move us around a great deal here, the French. 93rd Regiment. Definitely just holding here because they might use this outer defences here to move against us. We do need to defend these here, so I think we'll put the 40th Guard here, 165 men across here. Let's just stretch them out a little bit here, so at least to guard the bridge here. Can we have any reserves? I doubt we can. 38th Foot here. 103rd Regiment here. We're going to try and stretch our forces as best we can here. We're not in the finest of shape in terms of men, but I don't want to keep going on about that. We just got to deal with what we've got. There's no point crying over spilt milk. That's not going to get us anywhere at all, is it? We just got to deal with what's in front of us and just get on with things. Now we do have 39th here, which I think I'll just keep in reserve. We'll keep in reserve down here. Now the cavalry are going to be put in a position where they can actually respond. We'll just put them here. Let's try to protect them as best we can from artillery fire. But every man is going to be used here. Every single man, if needs be, will be used. We'll put another regiment of them here, just by the gates. So just in case we need to leave out of the gates quickly, we can move against them. Now, these gentlemen can be moved here. We've got one regiment here of foot guards, 132 men, which we can use as a slight small reinforcement, but that is it. Let's take this fight, my friends. The Battle of Jerusalem begins. Oh, good grief, that is just unbelievable. Right, we have actually done ourselves well here in terms of what we've got. We've got ourselves quite ready here. got a lot here. They're going to try and break these walls down. We might... Oh, look at that. They've got a lot of forces coming in this direction as well. Double time, gentlemen. We've got to deal with these. We've got to deal with that cannon. Those cannons are going to be absolutely brutal. Here they come. They're going to try and outflank us here as well. This is the problem. We've got to deal with that cannon out there. We've got to. Oh, they've taken a real pasting there, sir. Why are they just strolling, sir? Here they come. Double time, sir. That's more like it, lads. They've wanted to get up on here, but... They've gone. Here they come, as we expected. Oh my goodness me, look at the cuirassiers here. They've got a... Come on lads, get in there. Don't. Look at that, look at the foot guards coming in. The battle for Jerusalem begins. We've lost a gate, we've lost a gate. Push them back, lads. Refocus your attack, lads. Drats, look at that. They've been absolutely smashed to pieces here. What the... Get into the lads, don't just stand there. This is going to be a brutal fight. Let's throw them back. Well, that's it. Let's get stuck in here. Yes, we've recaptured. Winning slight. Let's see what happens now when the foot guards get in here, gentlemen. Now they're not winning, sir. They fought with great bravery here. We've almost got them there. What the? How? What? What is going on there? Come on, we've got to push them back here. I've absolutely. What are they doing up here? What are they doing up here? The artillery, really? Okay, we've lost these crashes, but my word, they fought bravely there, sir. We have held, sir. I think it's about time we did move out here. We need to support these gentlemen here. Anyone else can harass us now? I don't think there is anybody else. No, we've destroyed all other French forces. Let's deal with these. Lads, the brothers need you. Britain needs you. All hands to the decks. Look at this. What the f— why are you just standing there, gentlemen? Why are you standing there? Idling. Prepare yourselves, lads. They're going to start firing upon us here if we're not careful. I think it's time we threw the French off here. I think it's time we got our hands dirty even more. We need to get some of these gentlemen right. I think by the time we brought. Ah. Show France what they're doing. We want them shattered, thank you, gentlemen. If France wants Jerusalem, then by damn, they'll pay a heavy price, sir. That's more like it. Harass you, these up. Look at that. British forces stand firm, sir. I think it's time for us to deal with these gentlemen. We need to draw these forces out here. It looks like we might have to sally forth here with some of our troops and actually move in. And we have dealt the French a real blow here. They've lost a significant amount of their armies here. I think it's time that we actually moved here and dealt with these forces. I know that essentially also recommended we actually fight this out in the field. Using our artillery as well as a sort of a cornerstone for that. But I think we have done quite well as well inside the fort. Now let's prepare our men, we've got to move out here. Come the cuirassiers. They've gone, they're broken. They're shattered, sir. Can we taunt these gentlemen out here? We need to move our forces out now, out of the defensive formation we have here. We're going to venture forth, I think, and take out this cavalry. Whilst we have a chance. Take the fight to the French. Time to double time. Lively, lads. Like lively, damn you, gentlemen. And if we can bring them out here. We will not tolerate slouches, sir. Can we bring this cuirassiers into our gun range? Looks like we can. But these guns will probably hit them. Steady. Oh, look at that. It's absolute a treat, sir. Oh, what a shot, sir. fall into the trap perfectly, sir. Oh, what a wonderful fight this has been. Yeah, they've had enough. They've had enough. The French have had enough. Look at that. We've caught them in a wonderful trap. We drew them out. And we hit them with cannon. Yes. Have at you, sir. They have lost a plethora of troops. Look at that. They've lost 2,700 troops. They only got 336 remaining. Like we 1,000. We lost a lot. We lost 1,000 men. But what a ratio of kills. Look at that. 270 kills. The line infantry and the guards held wonderfully there, sir. No, my word. Look at that. They've been absolutely obliterated. That's where they've come from, is Cairo. Now we know, sir. Now we know. What other surprises have they got in store for us, though? Nothing else. What will Poland do? Poland will probably declare war upon us as well. Let them come, sir. Let them come. What will Russia do? Will Russia finally move out against us here with Moscow? Because Moscow will fall very, very soon. What will they do? Russia? And will Russia move against St. Petersburg? That's the key question here. And what they're dividing their armies once again here. They're not keeping them as a coherent whole. Also, it looks like they're just going to move to defend the border here and keep Karelia. They know they can't break St. Petersburg. It would take a formidable force to break St. Petersburg. They would probably lose far more men than they were actually prepared to. But you never know. You never know. They might surprise us and move against it. Now, why are they moving so many forces just across the border here? That is perplexing. Are they going to move towards Moscow? They're not going to reach Moscow in time. So that is not going to happen. We've got Sweden still, but Sweden hasn't joined any of our wars at all, even though we've effectively propped the Swedish government up. Where are they? They're moving to they're going to use the roads here to move down towards us. Moving back from the Don here. They're moving back into Chechnya here. Ah, they're abandoning Syria. They're abandoning Syria. And the French have been soundly thrashed, sir. What will they do though, Russia? What is their end game here? What are they proposing to do here? They're taking a long time here. Are they gathering forces out of view? We don't have the facilities here to sort of gather intelligence on all our sort of ally enemies and where they might be. So we are in the dark in a lot of things, but I think in the Middle East we have sort of maybe potentially turned the tide for the short term. That's only for the short term. We mustn't at all assume we have superiority in the Middle East, because quite clearly France and indeed Russia can put armies in the theatre at will if they want to. So we are battling against it here, but we can possibly rebuild the army in the Middle East. But do we hand over Jerusalem to the French for peace after we just fought and really thrashed them hard there? That would probably go against the grain slightly here. Ankara is fully defended now. They are starting to move more forces from the north here, moving down south towards St. Petersburg. that could be a problem for us in the long run. Something we have to be wary of. Now, I cannot for the life of me figure out why this is like this. Many of the council did say you get the Russians get defense bonuses, especially with the defense. So we're going to have to take this battle here and end this siege for Moscow quickly. So let's take this fight, my friends. We're not going to resolve. We're not going to lose any more men than we actually have to. We're up against 5 regiments here. They don't have any artillery. They don't have any fire support. We are simply going to move out and destroy them with full vigour. We're not going to give them an ounce. Not even a moment's rest, sir. Will this be the time when we actually take Moscow after so many years? It's been 5 years of siege. 2 battles to take Moscow. It has cost us dear, but it has cost the Russians even more. Oh, it's a gloomy day, sir. Gloomy. Look at this. Possible rain as well coming along. Look how gloomy. Does that signify this gloom? The sort of the attitude, the apathy around the Russians. Are they now consigned to losing? We're not actually going to do. We're actually going to advance. We're not going to set up our lines. We're going to set up our defensive, our fire support here. Aid us in our fire, but we are actually going to advance, and we're going to take this city with great aplomb. We're actually going to take this city with great aplomb. We're going to pull back the cavalry here. They're not going to be needed. Just look at this. Wonderful, sir. And we are going to actually use 7th Grenadiers, Fusiliers, and the Marines here of this particular front here. We're going to move against them. On the left flank, we've got the first look at that, the 12th Royal British. I mean, look at that, sir. I mean, what an absolute joy. I mean, if that isn't going to bring a tear to your eye, nothing will. Look at this. I think we'll also use British Fusiliers. Oh, this is exemplary, sir. I would use Royal British Grenadiers and Fusiliers here in the vanguard. As you can see here, look at this. Absolutely a joy to see. Pull the infantry back here, and we'll use our elite forces here to take the city. I think they've earned that right thricefold. Let's begin. Oh, look at that. It's a bloodbath. We killed the enemy general in one go. Yakov Zolkin is dead. Look at that. They've just been absolutely butchered. It's over. It's over. Already. Trumpet is a wonder. And the breech loaders are dead. It's over. The battle for Moscow is finished. And it is the guards who are finishing that battle. Moscow is ours, sir. Moscow is ours. Without just a couple of shots from our fires. Look at that, it's over. The battle for Moscow is over. It's finished. It's done. At last, it's under British control. We lost 8 men. It's over. It's done. Yes, we've done it, my friends. We've done it at last. The city has finally fallen.
The siege is lifted.
Yes. Now will we see a massive counterattack here against us with the Russians? Will they now start sending forces from all over the empire to try and lift the siege here of Moscow? It is a potential here. They're going to try to move against us here. Let them come, sir. Let them come for St. Petersburg. It is ready. It is sat ready and waiting. We will not yield, I can promise you. They're taking their time here, the Russians. Yes, we're going to see some, we are definitely going to see some counterattacks here by the Russians. I think what we'll do, we'll take this force out and actually put in another force in to better protect Moscow, and then we'll replenish and repair this army outside of the Moscow. They can camp outside Moscow, so they can actually become a reserve army. But we will put a fully fledged army into here, one that is at full strength, ready to meet whatever challenges come our way, because I think we're going to see a huge response here by the Russians. Yes, as you can see here, this is going to be massive. They're going to throw everything they can at us now. Are these armies going to move down towards Moscow here and try and besiege us? Because we've just poked the hornet's nest here, my friends. Can we move against Kiev and then sort of bring Kiev under our control as well? Oh, actually, they're moving away. Are they going to raid us? And yes, here we go. This is going to get really, really brutal, to say the least. Wait, a military alliance, and why not? Let's do that. They're at war. Remember, Sweden is at war with Russia as well. Will we see Sweden actually respond here? Venice, don't do anything silly now, Venice. Nothing silly from you, sir. Ah. Excellent to see. How many agents we have in here? 3 agents in Cambridge. How many in Oxford? Just 2. You will become a new... Yes, sir. Oh. Excellent. Do we have everything at our disposal now here? I think we get top gallants here. Take us a while, but oh my goodness me. Now what does...
Yes, my lord. Ship's orders received.
They do have some stuff, some very powerful...
Withdraw!
Oh my goodness me, I don't believe it. How the blazes did they get captured there? Don't tell me, oh, of course, that this fleet here is going to stop anything moving in and out of here. That was a silly thing to do. We're definitely going to get some rebellions here. Let the rebellions come, though. What we will do is we'll just move this army out here.
Orders? Sir, your orders? Yes.
Oh, we're going to... I think we'll put...
Yes, sir.
We'll put Elizabeth Ernuk into here to defend.
Forwards for crown
Yes, my
and
lord.
country.
And we'll have both of these armies here ready to defend.
March.
Now, General Roberts' army can be fully replenished. We have 7723. That's good to see. I'll let them go on strike. We hope we can get a rebellion in there, actually. We can crush that rebellion. Yes, that is... Oh, dear me. I do beg your pardon, my friends, for that. I do beg your pardon about that, my friends. That was a little bit of a... just a little bit of a glitch there. Of course, that has been destroyed immediately without even... Oh, Poland's got the first steamship. +1 to command. +2 to morale. +2 to morale here. Mortimer J. Now, what have we got? 7,808. We've got 7,723 coming in here. I think we might need to reposition we might need to reposition here as well. Now, France has got a lot coming in here. Now, do we reposition ourselves to actually take advantage of what's coming here? Because Russia's been hit hard here. I think we might move ourselves up to here. That's much more like it, sir. Much more like it. We might actually improve our strength down here. Excuse any noise in the background, my friends. You can probably guess whom that might be. We've lost that ship there. That's a real bugbear of mine. That's happened there because we could have started building. We've lost that ship for no reason at all. We've got this navy here, which could probably be far more useful. It's going to be far more useful, this ship here, this naval fleet here, in British waters, or at least raiding here. We could raid this here. Let's do that. I think it's best if we just raid the French lines coming in here. Oh, 27,000, sir. Now I think what we can do is because of that, we can now put an additional heavy first rate. We've got HMS Neptune here. I think we will just put a first rate ship of the line here just to keep our monies in good order. We've pulled back these now. I know many of the council are calling us for us to take Crimea and for us to take. Now look at that, 85,000 there. But they've got nothing coming out here, so in other words, it's going straight to France. So this line here is going to Tripoli. Or it's probably going here to Alexandria. So this is 85,000 in gold from here. But we can't, if we move this fleet here, it's going to be caught out by the Russian or French fleets. But that's nothing to really worry about in terms of that. Now what is in Crimea? Let's quickly have a quick look here. What is... There's a fleet there now. That's what we've got to be careful of. That fleet there. And there's another fleet there. Look at that. There's a lot of money coming in and out of here. Powerful fleet here. What's this fleet like here? Oh, that's a really powerful fleet. That's probably their most powerful fleet right there. What do they have within the city? Nothing whatsoever. So we could take Crimea and then probably move up towards Kiev. We are going to move back towards Kiev here. Ah! I think what we'll do is we'll move back towards Kiev. So we'll take the Crimea. This will really damage the Russians massively here. If we take the Crimea, that's going to really do them a lot of harm. So what we need to do is prepare. Excuse any noise there in the back of my fence. You can probably gather whom that might be there. I'm going to put a few armies together. Mind you, recruiting additional troops won't do us any favours here. We've got to be careful what we're doing. We've got to use the armies we've got here. We need to basically go in against the Crimea. And that probably means using some of these ships here. We'll use the Archer and the Pobedislav here to move these armies into position. We can take the Crimea probably straight off the bat. Now with whom I think we'll send Chris Savarsky here. We've got General Aydin here, and we've got Adam. Or we'll send General Aydin and General Urnak is going to be the first general to land into the Crimea. We will then move back for General Aydin. Will this... It will indeed. We could land an entire army group on here in one go here.
Orders. Your orders.
General Sovaski.
Joining the fleet, General. Set sail. Ready.
Oh, that is a wonder to see.
Yes, Your Majesty.
Now we're stuck though. Now we're in trouble.
Orders. Make ready.
Mind you, can we hit one of their trade lines here?
All hands make
Yes, we can actually hide him in there. That's excellent. Now,
Lord? Yes.
what we will do is we'll use General Savaski here to take the Crimea. We will then use General Aidin. We'll actually hit the coat of the road here. We'll use General Ernuk here as... Yeah, we'll use General Aidin and Ernuk here to sort of guard the route inwards here. If we can take the Crimea, look at that, we'll take 85,000 gold from the Russians immediately. Then we can move then straight onto the Ukraine. But look what jeepers, creepers, great balls of fire. I've only just noticed that. Look what the Russians have got here. In Belarus. Look at the forces they've got in Belarus. That is just insanity. Look at the forces the Russians have got here in Belarus. My word, that is just incredible. If we go against the Kiev here, we are going to be in a lot of trouble, because if they send those forces down here from Belarus, they're going to break us. Or potentially break us at least. I mean, they've got a lot of cavalry. The forces aren't of the finest. So if we can sort of, you know, really dig in here. Let's bring this. We can't. 4,800. I think we do need that money though, don't we? We need to repair and replenish this building here to bring... That'll give us happiness as well here, so we'll have to repair that. Can't repair anything else here at all. No, we'll have to wait till next turn anyway, or next episode should I say, for that. We've finally taken Moscow, but look what suddenly appeared here. I mean, look at the sheer number of Russian armies here. There's at least 4 army groups here, just in this area here. I mean, they were completely hidden here in the Belarusian forest here. They've been hiding all this time in Belarus. All these Russian armies. They could have taken us. They could have taken St. Petersburg, or at least, you know, put a lot of pressure on us. And they could have easily lifted the siege of Moscow thrice over. But are they going to give us time to dig in here? Can we actually take the Crimea? We will take the Crimea. The Crimea is going to be taken. That is not without a doubt. But will we be able to take Kiev here under the nose of these armies here? That's the crucial question. What does the council think now? Now we know that probably only 50 to 100 kilometers away from Kiev, down the road here from Kiev in Belarus, is a mass of Russian armies. What do the council say about that, my friends? But I'm going to end this episode here. It has been a wonderful episode. Our main goal of taking Moscow has absolutely been achieved. Another goal of ours, which was thrust upon us, was to hold Jerusalem. That has also been achieved. We haven't replenished any of these gentlemen at all, which we must do. But let me know, my friends, what we think we should do from now on. I really take on board all your advice. We are going to move against the Crimea. We might even take the Don here and then move up against Kiev and try and just remove as much of the Russian assets as we possibly can. But if we've taken Crimea, we're going to rid them of nearly 100,000 of their income here. That could be... Well, that could be the death blow of the Russians. It really could. Crimea is their main anchor here of where their income is coming from. The only other port they've got is probably here in Persia, which is Bandar Abbas. And they've even got here Syria, but even then we could probably move against Syria if we wanted to from Jerusalem. The French have been defeated. We could probably move against Syria here and take that. What a fight it's been. What an episode, my friends. With limited forces, we've actually done a huge amount of damage to the Russians. But my friends, I'd like to know what the council thinks and what your proposals and your plans are for our new step. What do we do now? But take into advice this here. This is what has suddenly appeared upon our radar, as it were. This massive Russian forces. Let me know what you think, my friends. But thank you again, once again, for all your wonderful support and advice, my friends. It's been absolutely incredible. But until next time, my friends, bye for now.